Hi BookTube! So I have decided to do a vlog for the Independent Bookstore Week happening here in Portland. It's separate from the event that happened in April where it was like the nationwide Independent Bookstore Day. With this one, it takes place from last weekend, so from that Friday through that weekend through the week and then through the next weekend. So I like how it includes 2 weekends and the weekdays, so that way, unlike the Independent Bookstore Day where it's like massively crowded because it's just the one day and it's on a Saturday. Even though there's events happening, it's not as crowded. So I do like that. And so they gave us a bingo card, and there is many stores participating. There's over 81 stores. I am not going to be going to all of them because that would be crazy. But it's lots of fun because I think this is the third year that it's been happening. And each year I feel like they're doing more and more events. So each book, not all of them, but each there's different events happening every single day. Some of the stores have like an ongoing thing of different sales and whatnot, and then some of them are doing author interviews, author signings, comic book signings, and there's like writing workshops, poetry workshops, silent reading nights, audio book walking in the park nights. There's a couple of different bookstores hosting that, which is very interesting. There's like a wine tasting and farmers markets, and I mean, there's like anything you can think of. And with the children's bookstores, there's like the story time, and I saw one that was like it was face painting. So there's lots of fun things going on. There's like book trivia night, but so with all of that, I'm not sure if I'm going to be participating in any of those. The silent reading night would be fun, but I feel like that's one where it would be very crowded, and so I just don't know how much reading I would get done. But I am going to go, all this to be said, I'm going to a couple of bookstores. So they gave us a bingo card, and I ended up with 2 of them because I got one stamp at one, and then I got the rest of my stamps at the other one. But yeah, so I've gotten some footage, and I will insert that now, and then I will come back and talk about the books that I've gotten. On the way to the bookstores. Look at these clouds, my goodness. I love seeing the sailboats. There's more way down there. First stop is the Vancouver Public Library. It's just, heading back to Portland now, and I'm in this like farming, foresty area. Now there's hail. Oh my goodness. But sun is on its way, right over there. forgot to show the Fable Girl. She's coming along for the ride. Back in the city. Normally you can see Mount Hood over here, but there's too many clouds. Okay, I'm back. And so I decided to focus on Washington and some of the Northeast Portland bookstores. Like I said, I did not go to all of them. I went to a total of, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I went to 4 bookstores, or maybe 5. Yeah, I think I went to 5. But I have two, yeah, like I said, I have 2 cards because I got 1 stamp and then I forgot to bring this in with me, and so they gave me a whole new one to start with. I'm not, like with this, like you could fill it out. You can get 1 bingo, 2, or a blackout, and each time that you do get a bingo, and that gives you like a raffle, entry into a raffle. I'm not going to do that, but it's just fun to track what I've gotten here. And so some of them was funny. Like the one I got was a bookstore that may or not be haunted, and the second bookstore I went to, I want to say in the vlog, it's in a record store basement. So they're like, but when they stamped this, they were like, how can this not be haunted? We're in the basement. And so there's different things here, like a bookstore that sells books in other languages, a bookstore with a rare collectible out of print books, bookstores outside of like the Portland proper metro, a bookstore that you can walk, wheel, or rollerblade to. Let's see, a genre-specific bookstore. Let's see, a bookstore with a cafe or a beverage on the counter. A bookstore that's been open more than 30 years. There's all sorts of stuff on here. And so and they also give you a list on the back of all the participating stores. And there's, I think, 81 in total here, which is a lot. They're big and small. Like, not all these are gigantic bookstores. Some of them are really small. And some of them are like pop-up locations where they'll go to like different food trucks, and there'll be a little store there, or they can be at the farmers markets or the vineyards and all sorts of things. So but there's still a lot on here, even if you include this. So I went through because I have 2 cards. I went through and looked at all the ones I've ever visited, not just today. But so I highlighted all the ones I've gone to, but there's so many more on here. And so many of them are the new bookstores, like they sell new books. And so I tried to go to some of them when I went to Washington, but I felt like I was just wasting my time because I ended up browsing and they look really, really cute, but I don't buy new books just because they're so expensive. It would have to be something I really want, something I would want to keep in my collection forever, or maybe like a special edition classic or something, but I'm hard pressed to buy a new book. So a lot of these on here, I think there's only 1 bookstore on here that's a used bookstore that I've not gone to. All the other ones I've gone, like some of them are I mean, that doesn't matter. Most of you watching aren't from Portland, but there's someone here that I've never heard of before. Chess Club, I have no idea. David Morrison Books, no idea. So it's cool how this is like bringing awareness, because I knew Portland had a lot of bookstores, but I had no idea that they had this many. So the first year that they did this event, I think there was 50 bookstores participating, and then the next year I think it was 60, and then I think it's the 3rd year, and now they're already 81. So I don't know what's happening. There's all these bookstores like coming out of the woodworks, which is not a bad thing. So all that to be said, let's go get into the books I got. I didn't get a crazy amount, I will say. So I got a bag here of books, and they're quite an assortment. Most of them I got at the Vancouver, Washington library store, which was I tried to get a picture of, I got a picture of some of the little aisles, but I couldn't get a picture of what it all looks like because there's so many people around it. I didn't want to take pictures of them with their children and stuff. But it's, when you walk into like the library, these little shelves all along the wall right in the entrance. And all the books were, what was it, like $1 or less? And so I got a random assortment of books. So, and I don't think any of these I've ever heard of before. But we have Day of Two Sunsets, Paddling Adventures on Canada's West Coast by Michael Blades. I love this cover. It just like the watercolor kind of look to it. And here's the author paddling along. And I've read different hiking books. I've read like one book is sticking out in my mind where I read a book where they were hiking from Bellingham, Washington, all the way through up to Alaska, up to the top of Alaska, like the tundra area. And like they didn't just do hiking, they in different parts they took kayaks and whatnot through to but they did most of it was walking. But anyway, so I've read hiking books, I've read like dog sledding books, but this one will follow along a lot in a line with that one. But yeah, it's Ocean Kayaking. It's a book he's always wanted to write. It's like from the wildest corners of Vancouver Island's outer coasts. Okay, so there's that. And then I have Guardians of Yellowstone, an intimate look at the challenges of protecting America's foremost wilderness park by Chief Ranger Dan R. Shawley with Stephen M. Newman. And here is the ranger on the back. And I have read another ranger book, not for Yellowstone, but for Glacier National Park. And that was like the first e-arc, the advanced reader's copy I've ever gotten before. And it's the only one I've ever requested and read, because it's, what is that website? I know like it's very popular for people on BookTube to use that service, and I'm like blanking on the company's name, but I thought I would give it a go. But at least the one I got, the formatting for the ebook was like wonky. The words were splashed here and there. I could still read it, but it was just a mess of a formatting. So I just assumed that I don't know, all the rest of the books on this platform would be like that. So I read the one and reviewed it, and that was it. But yeah, but this one I've never heard of. I've been to Yellowstone. I've never been to Glacier National Park, the other one I read, but I've only been to Yellowstone a couple of times, and it's a place I feel like you could just endlessly revisit during the different seasons, go to the different areas, and there's pictures in here too, I think, or a couple, and they're all in black and white, but I think this might be an older book. There's a moose with a calf and some waterfalls, and of course the geysers. Oh, this one looks funny. It looks kind of like a Mickey Mouse. I wish it was in color, because I always see like the in Yellowstone the oil splashed looking areas. But when did this book come out? In 1991. Yeah, I thought it was an older book, but still worth a read. And then I have North Country Almanac, a seasonal guide to the great outdoors by Anne Bradis. And I love the look of this. And this is about, was it Minnesota? Yeah, it's about the natural history of Minnesota. And she wrote for the St. Paul Pioneer Press, like their local newspaper. And so I think a lot of this is like North Country. So I'm thinking it's like, like the North Woods of Minnesota. So that'll be nice. I've only like dabbled a little bit in looking at the North Woods. There's so much over there that I need to explore, but it's very far away from me. Let's see. Then we have In the Market for Murder by Jennifer L. Schiff, a Sanibel Island mystery. And I like how this isn't for a cozy mystery. It's not your typical mass market size. It's a little bit bigger, but it's not like it's like in between a mass market and a trade. Oh, and there's a note from someone in here. It says, read number one and two, Lisa! Exclamation point. Okay, so yeah, I need to read books 1 and 2 then. Hopefully I don't need to in order to read this one. I feel like for cozy mysteries, you can dip in and out of the series and not get too lost, at least the ones I've read. But this came out in, this is book 3, and this came out in 2018. But I've never heard of this series, and here's the author on the back with a very beach-like cover that would fit with this. And let's see, she lives in New England and Sanibel Island, or Sanibel. This is another place I've always wanted to visit, because I was first introduced to this area when I was reading another Sanibel Island mystery series. It's by a man, and it's much more like a detective police type procedural series, but it's like a long, I'm not blanking on the author's name, but it's like a long running series. And so it'll be nice to have a different person's take on the island. Let's see. Then we have just a couple more. The Secret Staircase by Sheila Connolly, another author. There's something sticking out here. There's another author I've never heard of before, but this, oh yeah, this is the Portland Book Week bookmark that all the bookstores had. And then there is the 20th anniversary. Like, this is all culminating in the Rose City Book and Paper Fair taking place this coming weekend. And this is something that's been ongoing, yeah, for 20 years now. And but I didn't go to that either because it's like lots of like rare and antique books, and also it's like it's in a hotel, so it's very, very big. And I just assumed it's gonna be very crowded, and it's not my kind of thing. But I could check it out because like this year in particular, if you come with your bingo card, then it's a free entrance, whereas before I think you had to pay to get in. But anyway, so there's this one, and this is part of the Victorian Village mystery series. Yeah, so never heard of this author or this series, but let me see. It's taking place in Asheboro, Maryland. Your typical cozy mystery, and here's the author. And is she in Maryland? Let me see. It doesn't say, but she's a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution in the Society of the Mayflower Descendants. Interesting. Oh, she died. There's like not just a birth date, but she died in 2020. But at least I have her book here. Is this maybe her last book then? If it's stating her when she died. This came out in 2021. Yes, this might be the last book she wrote. But okay. So what number in this is this series? Okay, this is book 3, I think. Because these are the other 2 in the series. But she's written quite a bit of series. So if I like her work, then at least I have a whole other series to read. And then this last one here is just the cover. The cover got me with these chickens. Quite a Year for Plums by Bailey White. And I have read this. This author looks really familiar. I feel like I read her before. Maybe it's the Mama Makes Up Her Mind one they're talking about here. I'm not sure. But this author is yeah, Sleeping at the Starlight Motel and Mama Makes Up Her Mind. I think Mama Makes Up Her Mind is the one I read. But yeah, I didn't know anything else except I recognized the name vaguely and like the cover. I didn't read the description or anything. And this one says, okay, so Bailey White was on NPR as a storyteller, and it was filled with like wit and charm. So okay, so she must know how to tell a story. But this is the peculiar yet lovable people who inhabit a small town in South Georgia. There's serious, studious Roger, a peanut pathologist, okay, and an unlikely love object of half the town's women. And then there's featuring his mother-in-law, and an attempt to attract outer space invaders with specific combinations of letters and numbers. Okay, yeah. This is like gonna be a goofy book. There's a whole assortment of things going on here with like kind of like this like wacky small town. And here's the author on the cover here, and the dust jacket, and she lives in South Georgia, so she knows what she's talking about. And then the back cover, it isn't like the author or kind of a continuation of the chickens. It's just like this really nice little painting. So there's that. So I didn't go out to the bookstores with anything in mind. I like how I can just pick up random books and give them a go. Because I didn't want to come in with a list. Because I'm just like, let's just see what each of the stores have for me. Because I hadn't visited any of the bookstores that I went to, except for one of them in the Northeast Portland, Melville Books. I've been to that one previously. And I didn't get much filming of footage of that because it's a really small bookstore. It's really cool though. The footage I did get, it's a little alley that you walk, like on a main street, and you walk down this little alley with like the paintings on the side and all these flowers, all the way to the back, like behind another building, in a little nook and cranny is this bookstore, an outdoor bookstore, with some carts, and then you go in, and it's this little like a little bit bigger than like a walk-in closet where it's like the more pricey books are at, and it's but it's a really nice bookstore actually. They have a lot there for their size, but yeah, it's a very like unique kind of situation. But anyway, that's what I've gotten so far. I am planning on going out again sometime later this week to go to some other bookstores, because a lot of the ones I'm saving up to go to have sales where during this week, and so I want to go to some of those, and there's 2 on that list that I've never gone to before, so we will see what I find in the next one, but I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.